And so...
入るぞ。久しぶりだな、ブレンナー。少し痩せたか。
The first words that left her lips as she came inside was the greeting one would give to an old acquaintance. The one that responded with a natural gentle smile was yet again someone in complete contrast to Eleanor.
あなたこそ、一段と剣のある顔つきになったわね、エレオノーレ。相変わらず、疲れる生き方をしているみたいだけど。
She was even better back in the past. Holy shit!
ドイツ女子青年同盟、創立時からの幹部候補生様が、今更私に何の用？まさか同期のよしみで、婚約のお祝いに駆けつけてくれたわけでもないでしょ？
当然だ。
After the blunt response, Eleanor dropped a bundle of documents on the desk.
貴様に聞きたいことがある。こたびの一件、正確な場所はわかるか？
なぜ私に？
貴様らには横のつながりがあるだろう。未来の夫の行状を調べ上げ、共有し、捨てられぬように予防線を張り巡らす。女というのはそういったコス辛い計算の生き物だ。
あなただって女でしょうに。
それについて議論するつもりはない。知っているのか知らないのか。協力するのかしないのか。
Her voice was pressurizing, and all of her manners showed blatant hostility. It almost seemed as though she was wordlessly stressing she hated the woman. As if used to such treatment, the other woman did nothing but smile wryly. Eventually, the sober net of the crimson-haired first lieutenant timely came between them.
注意？いきなりそんな喧嘩越しじゃ通る話も通らないっていうか。
あら、可愛らしいお嬢さんね。あなたの部下なの？
いや、こいつは。
はい、私はベアトリス・バルトルド・フォン・キルヒアイゼン準尉であります。この度ユーゲントを卒業し、ビッテンブルグ中尉のもとに配属されました。青春ど真ん中の戦乙女です。
とりあえず、これのことは気にするな。ユーゲントの首席卒業生は少尉に任官するのが通例だが、この低たらくだからな。
首席？そう。優秀なのね、お嬢さん。
はい、父上と母上も喜んでくれてるんですよ。
キルヒアイゼン。
何です？
黙れ。
イヤボール。
それでブレンナ。おい、貴様、何を笑っている
Thinking she was being made fun of, Eleanor roughened her tone, but all this added in response was slightly wave her hand to calm the soldier woman down and put on an even more brilliant smile as if to bless her old acquaintance.
いや、ごめんなさい。あなたも何かと大変なようで、羨ましいわ。で、さっきの話だけど、確かに知っているといえば知ってるわね。なぜならここ、どちらかといえば、お客は女性の方だから。わからないかしら。つまり。
Right before she spoke, Beatrice realized the meaning of the expression and began to visibly panic.
じゃあこれって要するに。
はあ、なるほど。ガテンが言った。ますますもってここは堕落婦女子の巣窟だな。まさかとは思うが貴様。
誤解しないで。ここには過去の過ちを悔いている子も多いのよ。私はただ彼女たちの悩みを聞いてあげているだけ。
懺悔すれば許された気になる。クズの駆け込み寺というわけか。お似合いだよブレンナー。貴様、男に捨てられたら二層にでもなればいい。
考えておくわ。それでレオノーレ、あなたは一体どうするの？レーベンスボルンを告発してレッドオークリンでもする気かしら？
そうしてもいいが、より賢明な判断をしてやろう。貴様とて花からそれを条件にメス犬どもの罪を不問にさせようという腹だろう。まあ痛めつけても口を割る玉ではないし、曲がりなりにも政府高官の婚約者だ。腹立たしいが丁重に扱うしかあるまい。
そう、ありがとう。だったら
案内しろ。今すぐにだ。
わかったわ。聞いた話だと今夜そこにはゲシュタポが向かったらしいし。
Eleanor grimaced and pondered. At the revelation, it seemed like volatile information reached Lisa even faster than she expected.
また面倒な。だが、 考えようによっては渡りに船か。
注意。
なんだ。
彼女も連れて行くんですか？危ないですよ。
ああ、貴様はこいつがどういうやつか知らんからな。引っ張っていかんと平気で嘘を教えかねんのさ。ちょうどいい機会だ、キルヒアイゼン。貴様に人生の真理を享受してやる。
なんでしょう。
Eleanor looked at Lisa and Beatrice before puffing out her chest and making a claim as if she didn't belong to the same group of people herself.
女は信用するな。だ。
True. Well, maybe not in all cases, but sometimes, yeah.
では、
But same could be said
ドイ
about
ツ古
men.
代遺産継承局ウォルフラム・フォン・ジーバス局長の名代として参られたあなたに九段のものをお渡しします。東方正教会第17管区司祭バレリアン・トリファ。
So
あ
it
なた
was
とあなたの行く道に幸と祝福のあらんことを。エイメン。
So it was Valerian and not Valeria. Like it was freaking written in the very beginning.
エイメン。
Wait, what the heck? When did you... What? 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 That's not how she looked. What the hell? She hot. She's really hot. What happened? How come? What? How are you? Rusalka, okay, how the hell did you change into, well, you know, in the future, how are you not looking like that? What? Okay, never mind. The cathedral echoed. But why? What? Wow, this is like the biggest sorcery of the whole game. The biggest puzzle. How and why? What? The cathedral echoed a woman's soul worship. However, at the very next moment, her shoulders slightly trembled as she began to laugh.
いやいや、ごめんなさい。どうにも私ダメなのよね、こういうの。なんだかこう、神妙な顔でかしこまってると、おかしくなっちゃうっていうか。お葬式とかそういう時、思わず笑っちゃう癖があるのよ。
Her expression as she cackled was downright improved. Coupled with the clothing that emphasized her sensual body, her behavior could easily be registered as heretical.
でも、ありがとうね、神父様。無理言ってこんな大事なものをお譲りいただいちゃうなんてさ。
いえ、以前ならばいざ知らず、今のアーネンエルベ局は SS に吸収されたわけですから。ひいてはそれが国家のためとなるのでしたら、我々としてもお断りする理由はありません。
So that's how he looked. The priest, despite his role, said nothing about her blasphemy. On one hand, he could be described as an honorable saint, but on the other, he was just a lone-looking man with no aura of authority around him. He was great as a listener, but the meekness of his presence made him seem more than a bit unfit to talk down on people. He appeared to possess absolutely no vigor. The woman playing around with a bottle in her hands drew a sideways glance at the priest who smiled and asked him a question.
そんなもん？でもこれ、もらっといて悪いけど、本当に本物なのかな？
Okay, well, what's in that bottle? Something that will make her looking, you know, not so big? You know, that will make her literally looks smaller? Because I still don't know how is it possible that she was not looking like that, damn it!
おそらくは、コンスタンチノープルの総員に代々隠匿されてきた秘宝だと伺っております。ブラド・ドラクル公、その人の血液。すでに結晶化した粉ではありますがね。
闇の賜物、カジクルベイか。じゃあ、これを飲んだら、吸血鬼になれるのかしらね。 う思う？
さて、それはわかりません。ですが何にせよ、我々がこれを持っているとローマに知れたら、クルセイドが発動しかねない代物です。正直申しまして、個人的には厄介払いができたと思っていますよ。
Yeah, Rome doesn't need to know about stuff like that.
そう。じゃあ遠慮なくいただくわね。私もバチカンは嫌いだけど、いくらあの連中が野蛮だからって、今のドイツにはおいそれと手を出せないでしょうし。
Yeah. Not a chance, to be honest. The current circumstances wouldn't allow it. Although the Vatican was an independent nation, they couldn't ignore their position within Italy. A German alliance with their host country was more likely with every passing day. Thus, no matter how heinous and heretical the relic was, they couldn't do much against the Achlenerbe institution, which was now a national organization. The woman, seemingly pleased with the truth, made a wicked smile, like that of a witch with a grudge for Rome. Oh. Now you got me interested. What's this about?
ねえ、神父様。なんだかとっても気分がいいわ。せっかくですから、今夜はこのまま、私と一緒に夜のお散歩にでも出かけませんこと？
Okay, don't... I really had a feeling like that, but... Is this the night that every single one of them will meet?
いえ、私は。
正直、あなたにはちょっとだけ興味があるの。うまくは言えないけど、なんだ。
Hey, if anyone, please be interested in me, if anyone. Okay, she fell silent and looked at the priest.
美味しそうだし。
Okay, don't be interested in me. Don't. A few strange moments later, then seemed to feel something too. It made him place his hands on his chest, knit his brows, and dampened his forehead with sweat. Upon seeing him at that state, the woman made a clearly exaggerated gesture of surprise.
あら？どうしたのかしら、神父様。お顔の色が優れないみたいだけど。
I'm not interested anymore.
何でもありません。どうかお気になさらずに。
It's like with the legend of Rosalkas, so yeah. We've been told that before, so
？
I'll be repeating that.
そう。なるほどね。
何か？
いえ、そういえば、以前に興味深い噂を聞いたことがあったなと思ってね。
And that is?
なんでも、ルーマニアかどこかの田舎に、神の声を聞ける神父様がいらっしゃったとか。噂じゃその方、こういう呪いだか信仰だかわからないような思念がまとわりついた異物。その探索がすこぶるお上手だったみたいで。察するに、今風に言えばサイコメトラー。それとも、テレパシストってやつかしらね。つまるところ、人や物の記憶と思考が、見える、読める、聞こえてくる。羨ましいわ。私もこんな仕事をしているとね、その手の高性能レーダーが欲しくなるわよ。ね、神父様。あなたの知人に、そういう方はいらっしゃいません
？The priest looked away from the woman's inquisitive gaze and shook his head.
さて、どうですかね。私も神に仕えて長いですが、凡夫ゆえに、未だ奇跡の一端を垣間見ることもできません。それにお話を聞く限り、それはそう素晴らしいものでもないでしょう。
まあね。よくありがちな例えだけど、自分の周囲縦横に止められないテレビとラジオがひしめいている状況かもしれないし。いつもそうだと夜も満足に眠れそうにないからね。神父様も目の下にすごいクマができていらっしゃることですし。でもその人は幸運よ。一昔前なら問答無用で家計代に直行していたような身が今の時代に生まれたおかげで助かっている。そう考えると彼はこの時代に何らかの存在理由を持って生まれたのかもしれないわね。
ほう。例えば？
他人に同調しやすいということは他人になれるかもしれないっていうことよ。彼がその力を意味嫌っているとして彼の力を心底欲しがっている人がいるとして利害の一致がなされれば交換できる可能性は なきにしもあらず。
交換？
わかりやすく言えば、脳外科移植よ。ま、今の医学じゃ無理だけど。脳の回路が変な方向に繋がっている結果として雑音に苛まれるなら、別人の頭に変えることで、それは消える。いいえ。いっそのこと、魂そのものを抜き出して、体丸ごと別人のものに宿るとか。まるでおとぎ話ね。
ええ、雲をつかむような話です。
ま、最後のは冗談よ。私もこんなオカルト臭い仕事をしている身だけれど、そんなデタラメができる人も、それを可能にする方法も、まるで聞いたことがないんだから。
文字通り、絵空事ですか。
そう。ところで、ねえ、神父様。結局、最初のお話に戻るんだけれど。
I'll go. The strange and ominous mysteriousness surrounded the woman suddenly disappeared as she turned to the priest with a bright and girly smile. The sight made him chuckle. He could tell everything that she had been thinking plain as written on a piece of paper.
夜のお散歩ですか。
付き合ってくださらない？
I'll go.
わかりました。断ると何か根も葉もない噂を流されそうな気がしますので。
I'll go.
やあね、そんなことするに決まってるじゃない。
The woman turned around and left the place of worship. Beyond the door was the city of Berlin, surrounded by the air of Christmas. Oh, damn it, it's Christmas again. That's a bad sign.
さあ、ほら行きましょう、神父様。
Wait, did it say in the beginning what day it was?
星が綺麗だわ。
Not many of them.
ええ、本当に吸い込まれそうな夜空です。
The priest walked out and sighed in a voice that contained both amazement and grief.
私はね、思うのですよ。この空も、この星も、世界を余さず包んでいるのに、なぜ人は争わずにいられないのかと。
Because people are retarded. And, well, there are many other insults we could use. But let's stop there.
もし叶うのなら、この戦争を人類最後のものにしたいと、そう願うのは滑稽ですかね。
Would be great, but unfortunately there are some small wars going around still.
さあ、でも、あなたの望みを叶える方法があるとするなら、きっと一つね。
The priest gave the woman a questioning glance as she put on an impish smile and spoke in a scarily composed voice.
この戦争が永遠に終わらなければいい。そういうことよ、神父様。
Okay. Okay. Is it me, or maybe our Karl Kraft is already cooperating with Rusalka? Because first she implied the dream that our Valerian had, so switching places, and she said about it to him. Now she said about a war that will last for forever. And that was their goal, kinda. Well, we'll see.
帝都に散らばる星々は今宵運命の開口を果たす。意識せずとも抗おうともそれは定められたうねりに沿って導かれ、今宵この時この場所で出会うことは一つの必然。よって
注意待ってください。走るの早いです。めちゃくちゃです。
甘ったれるな、キルヒアイゼ。貴様、民間人よりも足が遅いとはどういうことだ。
しょうがないでしょ。だってあの子じゃん。
歩幅が違うんですよ。だって二人とも背が高え。
Yeah, the length of steps, right? There sure is a thing about that. The longer the leg, the longer the step. And, well, that way you can, you know, one step can be like 2 or 3 steps of a shorter, well, maybe not 3, but 2 steps of shorter persons, yeah.
ほら見て神父様。こうしていると私ってドボルザークの歌劇に出てくる妖精みたいに見えません？
とりあえず妙齢の女性が噴水の中ではしゃぐような真似はおやめなさい。みっともないですよ。
And she did not care.
今この時こそが私にとっての転換期となるだろう。なぜなら
ここにいたか、道化師が。随分とまた手の込んだ上にふざけた呼び出しをかけてくれたな。
彼が率いることになろうレギオン、その始まりが今なのだ。いやあ、ようこそおいでくださいました、ハイドリヒ中将閣下。席はすでに取ってあります。共に観覧いたしましょう。
何？
そうで
ちょっと、
これは。
なんともまた。
おかしなことになってるじゃない。
今宵のグランギニョルを始めよう。
That's probably his favorite phrase.
注意、これはどういうことです？
As they reached their destination, they were met with a calamity that left Beatrice speechless. She felt as though she were having a bad dream. Considering that they were seeking the criminals, it could be processed as a positive situation on their part, but the weakness happened to be far above what anyone could have predicted. Which was perfectly reasonable. After all, who would expect to see a car get blasted away and explode in about between 2 unarmed people? The number of savages was another thing that confused them. Why were there 2 and why were they fighting? As Beatrice became even more perplexed, Eleanor kept her iron hard expression.
さてな。だが見ろキルヒアイズ。貴様はあれが誰だかわかるか？
誰って？
The girl's superior slightly raised her chin to point at a tall man clad in a first-class military uniform at the other end of the alley. At a closer look, there also seemed to be another man standing beside him. Even from afar, the two seemed quite handsome, but their overall impressions were both completely different and strangely similar. Beatrice couldn't have worded it well, but she felt as though she were looking at characters from picture books, ones that made chills go down her spine. They were... Wait, where's Spinne?
ラインハルト・トリスタン・オイゲン・ハイドリヒ中将。彼がゲシュタポ長官閣下殿よ。
本当ですか？
ああ。そしてその隣にいるのはおそらく。
The other man seemed as thin as a shadow graph, though they could both see him there. For some reason they couldn't perceive his visage.
誰です？
いや、それはいい。ともかく、事情は知らんがここに中将閣下がおられる以上、やるべきことは一つだ。狂った族から閣下のお身柄を守らねばならん。見る限り、ここに居合わせた軍卒は、貴様と私の二人の。であれば、ゲスタポの仕事に介入した越権行為にも大義が立つ。
She was right, but Beatrice nodded with full respect for Eleanor and the venerable path she walked.
ですね。あの暴れてる二人、誰だか知りませんが危なすぎます。
生意気にも一発に鼻が利くか。ならばついでに教えてやる。ああいった手合いには、銃よりもこいつだ。
Swords. Eleanor smiled for the first time in a long while, and as if to praise her subordinate's resolve, she unsheathed the sword at her waist.
叩き切り、突き刺して、痛みと恐怖を植え付ける。銃とはな、キルヒアイゼン。向けられても存外に怖くないものなのだよ。
Is that so?
はい。
The woman saw her enemies and silently proclaimed she would join the battle. The cool, brave and knightly posture invigorated Beatrice so much she forgot her fear.
時に貴様、 実戦は初めて。
はい。でも大丈夫です。
At her superior side, the girl could fight fiercely and with no hesitation. Ever since she took a position at the army, she dedicated her blade to the fatherland, its people, blood, glory, and victory.
そう願いたいな。私の家も貴様の家も元を正せば起死回帰。武門に生まれた以上、殺すことも殺されることも躊躇は無用。行くぞ。
はい。リダさん、あなたは隠れていてください。
Batteries kicked the ground and with lightning speed broke in the hurricane-like violence surrounding the scoundrels. Her first attack was deflected. She took the severest counter-attack with the middle part of her blade. The impact was great enough to send her flying backwards, but she was able to hold her ground by lodging into the earth with her army boots. The violence and vehemence of the attack made her feel as though her opponent wasn't even human.
なんだてめえ、どこから湧いててやがって。
The crimson lights on his ivory face released a hot demonic light. As under the blast walls, he didn't have a weapon. The man deflected her blade with nothing but his bare hands. The stench of blood and beast made it quite obvious that he was barely human. With just a single exchange of attacks, Batteries instantly knew he was a true murderer and no friend to the ordinary. However, that was exactly why she couldn't back out. Succumbing to someone so bad was the opposite of what a true knight would do.
そこな強賊、おとなしくバクにつきなさい。私はベアトリス・バルトルート・フォン・キルヒアイゼン。抵抗するなら手足の一二本は叩き落とす。
The severe and solemn scolding made the man wide and his eyes and looked slightly confused at first, but then his shoulders began to shake and his mouth formed a weak smile, which was followed by a cackle just as dark.
言うねえ、こりゃ面白い。貴族の嬢ちゃんが勇ましいこった。こんな細っけえ体でよ、俺とやれるとでも思ってんのか。組み敷いて串刺してよがらせてわめかせて叫ばせてクズみてえにばらまいてやれ。
An avalanche of thick bloodlust came all over her. The wickedness clogged her nose, clouded her vision, and made her oxygen-deprived limbs go numb. The very truth that such a man existed tried her perception of the world. And that was exactly why she couldn't allow him to draw breath of their human world any longer. Beatrice had no doubt in her heart.
なんてゲス。お前には救いがない。
おお、そんなもんは生まれてこの方ただの一変だって感じたことありゃしねえよ。ほら来なよ嬢ちゃん、人の喧嘩にアホな横やり入れやがって。そういう真似すりゃどんな目に遭うか教えてやるよ。
言われなくても。
As the killer beckoned her, Beatrice fixed her posture and took a step forward. Being a soldier, the girl had things she needed to protect.
教えてやるのはこっちの方だ。
Her angered roar was followed by an earnest thrust. Deflection, evasion, and follow-up attack, unlike the momentary first exchange, this one was building up to be a true battle to the death. Beatrice fearlessly faced his violence, swearing not to let it swallow her and the justice of the path she walked. And
ああ、なんだよつまんない。せっかく盛り上がりかけてたのに。これじゃあ消化不良もいいとこじゃないか。
the other Valkyrie approached a second villain.
おい。貴様。なんだ。
Unlike Beatrice, she wasn't angry. The woman gazed as she examined the being before her was as cool and grim as eyes. It was as though she were trying to gauge how best to deal with the beast.
男か。女か。生はどちらだ何者だ。
Everyone knew full well that it wasn't the dainty girl it appeared to be. The being was covered in whirlwind of decay that could almost be described as a dress weight from bloody mist. The pure smile was but a thin layer hiding the chaos of hatred, resentment, and indignation. Eleanor didn't even have to remove the mask to feel the pure madness underneath. It was practically boiling and seeping through. The amount of people this thing killed was several times greater than that of Beatrice's opponent. Eleanor easily understood that this one was far more dangerous than the other. Tooth.
どっちでもないよ。見るかい？ほら。
The vast emptiness under the being's ray skirt had no effect on Eleanor's composure. She had a hunch that it wouldn't be a pretty sight even ever since she saw the dress-clad monster.
だからお姉さんがどっちでも愛してあげるよ。どうする？
No thanks.
なるほど。つまらん哲学を持っているようだな。汚らわしい。
It was just as she feared, and that was the reason why she couldn't tolerate the being.
エレオノーレ・フォン・ビッテンブルグだ。かかってこい狂犬。テートを腐らすウジ虫め。切り殺した後、燻蒸消毒してくれる。
It was the spongless city and darkness. Eleanor couldn't stomach the environment that could give birth to such beasts. The fatherland lost in the previous war, and as such, hopeless failures covered it like a thin cloud. The one plan destroyed the root of this problem, removed the darkness with the light of victory. That was her role and venerable mission as the Knight of the Reich.
殺す。殺す。僕を殺す。またそうやってできないこと言うやつがさ、嫌いなんだよ。誰が誰を殺すんだ。言ってみろ。私が貴様をだ。思い知れ。
Failures such as this thing had no place in the strong fatherland envisioned by Eleanor. The ghostly incumbent defeatists had to perish. Whoa, I see everything. Well, that was nice. On that holy night, the two deadly battles shook barely into its core. Flying sparks and shouts of life, the dance between the beasts and the Valkyries left no space for anyone else.
呆れた。とんでもない坊やたちね。あれ、二人とも半分人間やめちゃってるわよ。
The woman watching the clash from afar voiced her slight astonishment. She expressed true wonder and a certain kind of praise, but strangely enough showed little fear. The priest accompanied her spoke in an inquisitive voice, as if to know more of her impression.
つまりあの女性将校たちの分が悪いと？
そうね。彼女たちも非凡ではあるようだけど、たまにいるのよ、ああいうのが。武道も魔道も知らないのに、環境で生み出される人間獣。言葉遊びをすれば、下道ってやつね。見る限り、小さい坊やが9点、大きい坊やが7点。赤毛の軍人さんはまともだけど、鍛え方が半端ないようだから、同じく7点。金髪のお嬢ちゃんは5点というところかしら。自利品ね。
Are you telling their power levels?
でも他にやりようがない。組み合わせを逆にしたら、金髪のお嬢ちゃんが真っ先に死んでしまうわ。そうなったら、最悪2対1の展開だし。赤毛の軍人さんもそれは分かっているみたいだけど、自分たちが2人がかりで攻めるのは、主義に反するってことなのかしら。だったらいっそ逃げちゃえばいいものを。そうもできないのが騎士道精神。泣けてくるわね。手詰まりじゃない。
Her tone as she commented on and analyzed the fight was nonchalant and amused. It was almost as if the woman wasn't aware of that. If she was right, she was in trouble as well. Or maybe she was aware but had reason to act as though it didn't matter.
ならばあなたが女性をして差し上げればよいのでは？
私が？なんで？っていうか、一体どうやって？
いえ、なんだ。あなたなら介入できそうな気がしたので。
Her straightforward question made him act slightly evasive. Certain truths were reaching his eyes and ears, but even if the other party was aware of it, he couldn't be too overt about his ability. The priest lacked the courage to speak out. His desire was to silently wither like a flower in the wilderness. The man was always prepared to flee and had a strong inclination to let sleeping dogs lie in his life.
しかし、そうなると困りましたね。軍卒とはいえ女性の危機です。私で何かの役に立つなら手助けをしたいところですが。
やめた方がいいわよ。だってあなたマイナス10点。ついでに言うと、あっちで呆然としている青髪のお嬢さんは 平々凡々な一点ね。どうしようもないわよ。
ならば
Seemingly irked by the woman's irresponsible attitude, the priest slightly raised his chin to point at another direction. Two silhouettes were staying there, even with his eyes and ears. For some reason, he couldn't describe those two beings. Too scared to know what she thought of them.
あちらの御人たちはどうなのです？気づいていなかったのですか？あれはおそらくゲシュタポ長官閣下殿に宣伝宰相殿の隠し玉。彼らならばどうなのです？
The response to the question was strange and far beyond what he expected. As if her soul had been just torn away from her, the woman shook in clear shock, only pitiful gibberish escaping her lips. What did she see? What did she feel? What did they look like in the eyes of a witch? Trifon's uncontainable curiosity surpassed even his fear.
どうしました？シュベーゲリンさん。
嘘よ。そんなことありえるはずか。どうしてなんで
Her composure, which was present even when she analyzed the two murderers, shattered like nothing else, for now she was faced by real monsters of another world.
信じられない。ふざけてる。認めないわ。なんであんなものがこの世にいるのよ。
Her shriek was a sure sign that the night was only just beginning.
どうです？なかなか興味深い催しでしょう。双方ともにある意味人の極限だ。
The vehemence of the woman, the madness of the beast, paying little mind to it, and as if enveloping them all, Karkrav continued talking with a mysterious smile on his lips. His song-like tone made him seem like a musician playing at an opera.
やはりこの国の人材は面白い。ふらりと外に出ただけであのようなものらに会ってしまう。これがあなたにとって無料の慰めとなれば幸いだが、感想をお聞きしてもよろしいか？
Reika was able to answer at first. However, there was one thing he wanted the man to know.
道化師。いや、K が何者であろうと言っておくが、私はな、そう大した男ではない。
He saw the jester-like man as a person who had long transcended the realm of merely odd, an amalgam of indescribable absurdity. He could feel it, but not by reason but by heart. Thus Reinhard Heydrich believed he was not interesting enough to be worthy of Phantom's interaction. After all,
昔から加減というものができんのだ。故に、なんであれ真摯に取り組み、結果としていつの間にか今の地位についていただけ。まるで止まることのない車と同じだ。性能がどうであれ、休まず走り続けていれば、世界の一周や二周は誰でも回れる。K が私に何を感じているかは預かり知らぬが、つまるところ、ラインハルト・ハイドリヒなど、そんなものだ。娯楽が欲しければ、他に面白いものは5万といいよ。そちらに行け。
for better or for worse, he was in no way above the common man. His own evaluation of himself was based in neither humility nor conceit, but in solemn reality. Being a person with nothing special to him, he could do nothing but trifling acts. Even if this man expected something more, the truth would not change. Reinhardt was a normal man, and he knew that to be the true better than anyone. After all, nothing in this world ever left him astonished. He was already at peace with the resignation overwhelming his heart, yet the man before him continued smiling, softly shaking his head.
これはまた、あなたに倒壊など似合わない。私がまだこんなものではないと言っても気は変わらぬか？
何？
The sooner spoke more nonsense. It was almost as though he implied that all the despair, disappointment, and limits Reinhardt set upon himself were nothing but illusions.
中将閣下、 あなたは加減ができぬとおっしゃった。止まることができぬとも。しかし、では聞かせていただく。あなたは本気を出していたか、走るつもりで歩いてはいなかったか。
どういう意味だ？
言葉通りそのままに。卵を割るがごとき所業に獅子は牙と爪を使ったか、地を這う虫との競争に鷹は翼を使ったか。あなたのおっしゃる加減ができずに歩いた道とは一体どこにある道だ。私には見えない。見たこともない。先ほど車を比喩に出したが、ではこう言わせていただこう。大陸を飛び越え、海の向こうにある敵国を破壊できる新型爆弾、あるいは宇宙へ飛び立つそれでもいい。その燃料と内燃機関を持ちながら、周りが公道だからという理由で一般車両に乗せ走っている。つもりになっている。それがあなただ。違うかな？そろそろお認めなさるがいい。あなたは本気など出していない。加減ができぬ性分ゆえに、そうしなければ病も持たない人と世界に生んでいるのだ。
バカ。
The mother's gaze lip was slightly cracked in tone.
K の古代妄想は一体どこまで広がっていく？爆弾の燃料と内燃機関だと？私がそんなものを積んでいたら、とうにこの国は怪人と化している。
Reinhard Heinrich claimed to be an ever-running automobile that knew no restraint. That was all there could have been to a man as boring as himself, and as such, this stride world surrounding him was, if anything, the proof of his limit. He was running for so long, and yet it was folk he had never moved from his initial position. Not once in his life had Reinhard gotten to feel this sense of accomplishment.
ですから、なぜそうしないのかと問うている。
Those words filled his heart like poisonous mercury. The sensation urged him to destroy and love. The tempting echo of a sweet ecstasy.
この国がお好きですか？慈しんでおられますか？友人、妻、恋人、家族、部下に上官、市政のもろもろ。あなたが土台そんなものを尊きよるべとするなどありえない。なぜならば。
For what he really wished for was to create the promised land of his destructive embrace. His consciousness began to weave that perception itself. It was an unknown delusional longing leaking out of his subconsciousness. At the same time, it was a feeling everyone felt in their infancy, one craving the preposterous and impossible, self-consolation through thought, the demolition of reality. The desire within his heart was all but no. No, instead he merely wished to.
カール・クラフト。
Reinhard took a step forward and cut the soldier's word short. He could not yet quite grasp the whole truth of his soul, the shape of the prayer echo etched onto his heart. He didn't comprehend what he believed in, wished for, or sought, and yet he felt it. It was a strange sensation burning his chest ever since he met the man. The unexplainable, incomprehensible emotion, one that he must have had experienced countless times before. Anger, irritation, despair coming from the fact he knew what would happen next, accompanied by ridicule and a boundless sense of emptiness. The craving to destroy it all. Which was why.
いい加減に口をつぐめ。初めて会った時に言ったはずだ。K が国家に害をなすなら許さんとな。
The passion he had poured into his fatherland, subordinates, and everything else he loved could not be proven true if he refused to embrace it.
もしこれ以上くだらんたわごとを抜かすなら、その口二度と開けぬようにしてくれるぞ。
Giving it to impulse, Reinhard resumed walking while Calcraft moved to the side with the same smile on his face.
おやおや、これは。ですが閣下、最後にもう一つだけ。この世の黄金律の一形態にピラミッドというものがありましょう。その頂点は 誰も横におらぬということ。あなたはそういうお方です。ご自覚なさるがよろしいかと。
くだらんな。
Indeed, his words meant little. Reinhardt's opinion of himself as a lowly individual had not wavered, and as such,
兵の言うことは何もわからん。上も乾きも私は自覚などしていない。しかしなぜだろうな。不明だが私は今ただ
he craved to embrace all creation until it choked.
この者たちをねじ伏せたくて仕方がないのだ。
ではご随意。
Should be easy, right, for him? As if... Okay. As if congratulating Reinhardt for the path you choose, crafted a graceful bow.
どけ。
お下がりください、中将閣下。危険です。
どけと言った。
One hit combo, huh? What seemed like a weak swing of his arm threw Eleanor away like a ragdoll. Exposed to the side, even the blood-clad mountain beast stepped dead in its tracks.
どうした狂犬。なぜ止まる。
The savage looked up to witness something that filled even him with terror. With his sense of reason gone, Wolfgang Schreiber's mind was like that of an animal, and that was exactly why the sight petrified him. His instincts screamed that Reinhardt was the normal opponent. The very thought of winning against him felt absurd.
その目、産んでいるだろう。ならばいるまい。
Reinhardt forced a finger into the eye of the beast and raised it by the socket. Schreiber's brain secreted ridiculous amounts of chemicals that made him insensitive to pain, but the electricity he was experiencing was nonetheless painful enough to make him scream. Discarded like a doll, Schreiber rolled across the ground, unable to tell which way was up. He might not have weighed all that much, but the feat wasn't one that should have been accomplished by a single finger. Undeniable and absolute dominance and subjugation, everyone exposed to it lost their breath.
そんな。
何ですかあれは。
嘘よ。嘘よ。
What the hell? How? Stop, PC! Stop! Stop going crazy! I don't know what the hell. How the hell? What? Something is something really weird. Sometimes something weird is going on. And the mouse goes crazy of its own volition somehow. Don't know why. The only exception was the shadowy swindler, to whom the sight seemed thoroughly pleasing.
引け！下がるんだ、キルフィアイゼン！
Eleanor's pained scream failed to reach the girl in the time for her to avoid being thrown to the side. And so only one of them was left.
なんだよてめえは。
Astonished and terrified, Wilhelm stood before the golden destruction. He too was completely stripped of any will to fight. The eyes looking down at him seemed to come from the high heavens, but the voice that fell upon his terrified ears was strangely emotional for someone's being of the equivalent of an aunt.
何者でもない。貴様は何だ。
あ？俺は。
Wilhelm failed to string a proper sentence, as if he had forgotten who he was, and only released sounds that seemed both sorrowful and joyous. Soon enough, he came to a certain realization. The man before him was an infant, a freshly born transcendent who would experience unimaginable growth. Any who came in contact with his first cry were pulverized, turned to dust, and rendered unable to return to their former selves. However, for some reason Wilhelm felt that to be a blessing rather than a curse.
血を好むのか、それとも忌むのか。まずは己の血を顧みろ。
The fist that crashed into Wilhelm's stomach reduced his internal organs too much, shattering his bones and ending his life. The strike marked the beginning of his second life of blissful strife, as a member of the hellish Legion of Gold. While painfully drowning in a sea of his own bloody vomit, Wilhelm felt love, pleasure, and elation so true it almost made him climax. Ooh! The Mercury Shadow, observing the sight, grinned, expressing his great joy from the distant, unknown emptiness of the Empyrean. Okay.
なんてこと。
Lisa could do nothing but embrace herself and tremble before the sudden eruption of Gold's failure.
どうやら型がついたようですが、しかしこれは果たして助かったと言えるのでしょうか。
Trifa felt as though he might have been luckier had he actually been killed today, as someone of no consequence. That sentiment of his wasn't unreasonable in the least.
あれがラインハルト・ハイドリー。
Anna Schwegelin instinctually understood Anna? What? That she never should have met him. Her fate was sealed just by virtue of being here, and there was no escaping it now. As if to confirm it, Reinhard Heydrich gave the two soldiers an order.
そこの二人。
なんでありますか、中将閣下。
Compared to Schreiber and Wilhelm, the woman seemed to be slightly better off. The two somehow stood up and looked back at the tall man.
あちらにいる神父と女二人をゲシュタポへ連れて行け。
しかし閣下、それは。
二度言わせるな。今すぐにだ。
かしこまりました。行くぞ、キルヒアイゼン。
ですが、そのあの二人はどうするのです？国家反逆の。
ケイラの知るところではない。私が戻るまで神父たちを拘束していろ。それから注意。
はっ。エレオノーレ・フォン・ビッテンブルグであります。
ケイラ二人、移動願いを出しておけ。ゲシュタポへ来い。
At that moment, the two felt as for Reinhardt's blue eyes were glittering in gold.
そんな。
わかったか。では行け。
They didn't know his intentions. Couldn't talk back against an order. They dragged their injured bodies and, as they were told, arrested Trifa and the woman before hurriedly leaving the place. They didn't know his intentions, but couldn't talk back against an order. They dragged their injured bodies and, as they were told, arrested Trifa and the woman before hurriedly leaving the place. As the night became silent, once again Karkar began clapping at Reinhard, who was still shaking from the newfound emotions that surged within him.
さて、おそらくは生まれて初めて振るったであろう手加減の薄い暴力の味はいかがでしたか、中将殿。たとえあなたが否定しようと私には見える、感じられる、その魂が歓喜に打ち震えていることを。
だからなんで私があんたたちに連行されなきゃいけないのよ。冗談じゃないわ。話しなさいよ。
Yeah, well, I thought it would be the end already.
ごちゃごちゃ抜かすな。大体貴様ら、なぜあんなところにいたのか言ってみろ。
Because it's almost 4 a.m.
市民が市外歩いて何が悪いって言うのよ、バカチン。それに、私だってあんたらと同じ。
まあまあ、一つ落ち着いて。ここはおとなしく、言うことを聞いておきましょう。
After the event, the people taken to Gestapo's offices exchanged complaints as anxiously aid them from within. The shock of seeing something so far out of the ordinary was still with them, but their mental states were already stable enough for them to speak.
申し訳ありませんでした、神父様。それにリザさんも、こんなことになってしまって。
ああ、いいのよ、平気。まさか、いきなり処刑されるわけでもないでしょうし。
そうですよね。だといいんですけど。
After all, the Gestapo was infamous all over the country for giving the death penalty for mere suspicion. The amount of people who left this being alive was below a tenth of those who entered. Previously, they could have easily processed that information as simple gossip, but such optimism wouldn't work now, for they just witnessed what kind of person the top of the division truly was. As if speaking everyone's worries, Anna shakily raised a shrill voice,
バカ
struggling.
あんたら本当に何も分かってないんだから。絶対後悔するよ。知らないんだから。
Well, there's not much you would be able to do anyway.
まったく、騒がしい女だ。傷に響く。
あ、そうだ、注意。大丈夫ですか？思い切り殴られたみたいですけど。
ああ、問題ない。腕が折れたが、むしろこの程度で済んだのが僥幸と言うべきかもしれん。
はあ。
But Reese was clearly the one who suffered the least damage, and for she was aware of the truth, the dark premonition within her had prevented her from feeling she was lucky. As if aiming through at her mind, Trifa lowered his voice, sounding a silent matter as though talking to himself.
しかし、噂には聞いていましたが、それ以上に凄まじいですね。ハイドリシチュージョ、あれではまるで。
まるで？何かしら、神父様。
いえ、何と申しますか。
Telepathy and psychonometry, the power within Trifa's brain, allowed him to read the minds and memories of people. However, he was unable to perceive even a bit of the thoughts within Reinhardt and Calcraft. As much as the truth scared him, Trifa was overcome with a certain idea. He could not help wishing to know what they were, for they might prove to be the ones who finally free him from this torture. It was far too ominous to be called a hope, but the overwhelming charisma of his might made the priest want to cling to it. As a self-admitted common man, he could not look away from the two beings of such superiority. Trifa felt as though he were dazzled by the shine of pure gold, but at the same time the glitter felt like being bewitched by the devil.
なんか暗雲立ち込めてきますよ、私の青春。ゲスタポキムになるなんて、父上と母上になんて言おう。
For better or worse, she had no choice but to let herself go with the flow. Regardless of what kind of future it would lead her to. Everyone felt the same way. It was their way of dealing with the destructive reality that would surely come for them sooner or later.
怒りの日、終末の時、天地万物は怪人と化し、ダビデとシビラの予言のごとくに砕け散る。たとえどれほどの旋律が待ち受けようとも、審判者が来たり、あまねくすべて厳しく正され、一つ余さず燃え去り消える。そうかの日こそ怒りの日来たれり。
くだらん歌だ。何をそんなに浮かれている。
Tiger and snake, I think.
さあなぜでしょうかな。ただ私の常識では新たな生命の誕生に立ち会った際、ことほぐものだと心得ておりますので。
今の歌がか。終末のレクイエムに祝福されて生まれるなど、もしそんなものがいるとしたら。
何です？
呪われた怪物だ。それは最初から生まれてきてはならぬものであったのだろうよ。
ですがこうして生まれた以上、彼の本能を止める権利など誰にもない。どうするのか、どうされるのか、何を思い、何をなし、何を見て、何を感じる。物苦しいほど気になって仕方ない。私はそれを常におそばで第一に聞かせてほしい。
そうだな。 ではまず差し当たって、この者たち K の好きにしてみるがいい。
Ah,
生かすも殺すも怪しげな魔術とやらの虜にするのも K ならいかようにも料理できよう。
and so he somehow changed the body of Rusalkas from amazing woman to, well, someone in their team.
御意に。ではそこの者ども、お前たちは今これより我と我が友カール・クラフトとラインハルト・ハイドリヒのしもべとなれ。満たされぬのだろう、殺したいのだろう、その力を与えてやる。呪われ汚れた生命にもだえんばかりの怪と越、真なる燃焼を約束する。血も肉も骨も髄も霊も心も魂も焦がし燃やし焚けるがいい。黄金の獣がその身に有する爪と牙になるがいい。
Or maybe not a tiger, but some kind of lion.
ジークハイル。
ジークハイル、ジークハイル・ビクトリア。
Tus was the inauguration of the demonic army that would grow to be known as the Obsidian Round Table. This was a story of their dawn. Gold and Mercury, the Beast and the Serpent, were the two leaders of the order. Both devilish and godlike at the same time, they formed a friendship and created a bond that could not be comprehended by common men. It was not to be forgotten that none could match them. As long as they were together, they would remain undefeated, even if the universe itself were torn apart. Thus, if anyone wished to overpower them, they would have to begin by separating one from the other. For that too would doubtless prove to be a trial like no other. As long as the eternal gap for knowledge was intact, all would only recur. Therefore,
DS イレ、テスタダビデカムシビラ。
they restlessly awaited the day of wrath. That was good. That was good. So we know how all of them meet each other. It's weird that this actually unlocks the moment we don't yet know all the characters, because that story actually unlocked when we played Kasumi's route. But yeah, it was definitely more suited to be unlocked during Kei's route, because in Kasumi's route we didn't know about batteries. Schreiber really. Well, he was in the very beginning of the chapter, but that wasn't really much introduction to the main story we had. Same for Zamiel. Well, Machina was not introduced of obvious reasons. Same for Tubalcain. Alright, Verfauländer Zegen. I guess it will be about the one I just called. Something about him. Anyway, for now, hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, see you tomorrow in the next episode. Bye bye.